My name is John Appolis. I'm the current General Secretary of Giwusa. I'm quite active involved in the whole process of the strike, including the actual negotiations with the employers and also in the facilitation process with the various institutions of the state. In August last year, the company sent us a notice saying that they need to restructure their business in order to save 300 million rand in labor costs, because for them there are too many Clover workers, they are too expensive, and they are too inflexible in relation to their performance and their workloads. There's a three components of their approach to achieving this labor cost saving. One is massive retrenchments, job losses, the cutting of salaries and the freezing of salaries, and the third component is the reorganization of the operations. Now, in relation to the first one, job cuts, they have already cut 860 jobs at the end of July 2021. They cut another 874 jobs at the end of November. They're planning, and in fact we are busy with another process of retrenchments. They're intending to retrench another 821 workers by the end of April this year. And then the second area is the area of salary reductions and salary freezes. What the company indicated is that they made a survey of their competitors to see what salaries and conditions apply in the competitors, Parmalat, Dufresne, Douglasdale. Those are the other competitors of Clover SA. And according to them, they have found that Clover is paying much more than its competitors, and therefore they want to now reduce the salaries to that level where the competitors are, and hence they then approach us and say they want to cut salaries between 20% and 62%. On average, it will be about 30%. About 50% of workers will experience a 30% cut in their salaries. There are a couple of workers that are in the area of 62%, 50%, 40%, and then others between 20% and 30%. And then those who are above this market rate that they have discovered and established would not get any wage increases. So in other words, they will have to experience a wage freeze. And then the third component is the whole reorganization of the operations. There they want to, for example, introduce a system called one van assistant, one driver. At the moment, when workers do deliveries, to the various retail shops, they have normally two van assistants and one driver, because the tonnage, the amount of goods and products that they have to deliver is quite huge. So they need two van assistants. So the company wants to cut one van assistant and only allow one van assistant and driver. In other words, the driver now must also get involved in the picking of orders in the truck, downloading, offloading, and all of those kind of processes, which clearly is going to be a huge kind of increase in their workload, just as drivers, even as the other van assistant. Then coupled with that is they want to introduce a new working hour arrangement where they want workers to work instead of 9 hours, 12 hours a day without overtime. Now you can see with the increased workload and with the increased hours of work, you can see just the amount of pressure and intensity of work that will now be applying to workers in that particular area. And then the third area about the work reorganization has got to do with what they call they want workers to exchange overtime for short time. So for example, if you work this week overtime, and next week there's maybe a shortage and you are not coming to work, for example, then they want to exchange your overtime to make up for the fact that you did not work the next week. And the third area is what we call the permanent short time. In other words, as a permanent worker, they want to acquire the right to call you next week to say, look, there's no job for you, orders are down, therefore we can't give you work for that particular day, and you lose money. So even the permanent workers would not be guaranteed the hours of work. It'll be like a flexible kind of arrangement that they want to introduce. So you can see the three components. There's the massive job losses. The workers who are remaining are going to get the increase in terms of their workloads and the functions that they must perform, and also they have a reduction in their salaries and the conditions of employment. So workers clearly are not accepting this kind of attacks on their salaries and their working conditions.